Hey everybody, this is Christopher Kelly, Managing Producer of Entertainment for NJ Advanced Media. I am joined once again by our food dude, Pete Genovese, to talk about his best bars in New Jersey project. Pete, we are off and running with this quest, with this search for the best bar in New Jersey. Give us the update. Where we last left off, we were getting a ton of nominations and suggestions, and where did that leave you over the weekend?
It was, well, it took me literally all weekend just to go through all the nominations. We received over 2,000 emails, Facebook posts, online comments, and it literally took me all weekend. Let the record show that I didn't see any of the Green Bay-Seattle game, which is only the greatest football game of the last decade. Missed it totally, doing my job. But anyway, but seriously, it was really difficult to narrow down the list. There's so many worthy contenders from all over the state, and we had we still 300, but you still felt, and the readers felt that, oh, we left out all these great bars.
Sure. So, what was your process for narrowing it down? I mean, I assume you started with looking at who got a lot of votes and who kept getting repeat votes and things like that.
Right. Well, it's not really votes; they were nominations.
Nominations, yes.
At that stage, yeah. It wasn't necessarily the bars that got the most mentions. I mean, this sort of works like Munchmobile. Like a lot of times when people send us recommendations, it isn't like how many; it's the quality of the recommendations. So that's really, and we said that right from the beginning. Make a case for your bar. Just don't tell us to go to Chris's bar and wherever. Tell us about Chris's bar. Tell us about the owner, the bartenders. So those recommendations definitely weighed more heavily than just saying, "Oh, go to Chris's bar. It's great."
So give me an example. I mean, what was a nomination that really stood out for you and made you sort of sit up and think, okay, we definitely should get that one in there?
There was a place that I had heard of, but I've never been to. Just an example, Haley's Harp Pub in Metuchen. They have, they're not one of for craft beer, they don't have the reputation of, say, a Cloverleaf and Caldwell or the Shepherd and Knuckle and the Halden. And you could tell the people were into this right from the beginning, and pretty much all their email, I mean, every once in a while there was, oh, go to Haley's, it's great, but they were very detailed. They told you how many beers they had, how many craft beers, naming the beers, not just saying there's 25 beers, naming the beers, talking about the bartenders in detail. But they weren't the only one. We had a lot of bars like that, and those were the bars that stood out and that made it onto our ballots. Again, with my personal picks, this whole process goes along, going to be reflecting both those opinions.
So we ended up with a list of 300 bars broken into 6 categories. Can you explain the 6 categories?
Okay, 6 categories. So we have neighborhood bar, dive bar. Those are by far where most of the votes are coming in. Actually, early in the week, dive bar had more votes than all the other categories combined, and now neighborhood's slightly more than dive bar. So those are the 2 big categories. Sports bar, craft beer bar, wine, whiskey, martini bar, and hotel restaurant bar.
And and as you alluded, we're just seeing votes in all of these categories. You can go onto NJ.com and vote in each one of these categories once a day.
Yes, so you can vote 6 times a day as long as it's in a different category. And people have all week to do this.
What are you noticing so far from the voting trends?
Well, we haven't. Our team of crack beer poll analysts have not gone too deeply into the results. They're coming from all over the state, and actually, the best thing, as I mentioned earlier to Anthony, of the 6 categories, the leaders. We have 2 leaders from South Jersey, 2 leaders from Central Jersey, 2 leaders from North Jersey. So that's so South Jersey. The point is South Jersey is getting into this, is really into this, and I think maybe some people were worried about this from the beginning, since obviously, whatever, 2/3 of the people in New Jersey live in North Jersey or North Central Jersey, and then North Jersey. The votes are coming from all over. They're not North Jersey, but they're not dominating the polls. So South Jersey has heard about this, and they're continuing to vote. Like I said, they lead 2 categories. They lead neighborhood. The 2 biggest poll getters by category are both led by South Jersey bars.
Wow.
That's really interesting. So they're into it. So I say to South Jersey, if you're listening, keep at it. Get your bars. Get into the other categories. You have no reason to feel that you're shunned, and you've really spoken up, and we hear you, and keep voting.
So, Pete, we've seen a huge response to neighborhood bars and a huge response to dive bars. My first part of my two-part question is, What's
Uh-oh.
the difference between, in your mind, a neighborhood bar and a dive bar? Because there's a fine line there sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, it was difficult sometimes to put a bar in one category or the other because there was a blurry gray line. But dive bars, it's sort of like you know when you see one or you walk into one. It's a little bit frayed or faded around the edges. If there's a menu, it's like burgers and fries. They don't have like this full menu.
And it's stained with grease.
What's that?
And
What's that?
the menu itself would be stained with grease.
Probably, yeah, exactly. And then maybe the walls. There's cracked wallpaper, and the sawdust and peanuts on the floor, and the bar's been chipped, and the bathroom might be a little disreputable, and so that's a dive bar. But these aren't places that you wouldn't want to go into and have a beer. They are friendly places. A lot of them have been around forever. But again, so the line was a little blurry. But again, neighborhood we had about 90 nominations or 90 poll entries for neighborhood bars. If you had to put most bars in New Jersey or anywhere, they're sort of neighborhood. I mean, our bars are kind of neighborhoody to begin with. They're in some neighborhood, but. So again, it was a lot. But dive bars, I think people are pretty happy with how the two shook out, and
Sure.
I think the choices are pretty clear.
So my other part of this question is we haven't necessarily seen a huge response in some of the other categories like hotel bar. Why do you think that is? I mean, are hotel bars sort of the black sheep of the bar world?
I don't know. Maybe they just don't have the fanaticism or the loyalty attached to them as a neighborhood bar is. It feels like home. It's like a second home.
Sure.
You're on a first name basis. The same owner for years and years and years. The same bartender's been there. Maybe restaurant bars might be a little bit more turnover. And they are, restaurant bars. They are restaurants at first. That's what they are. And the bars are just sort of an addendum, sort of place you have a drink before you wait for to be seated. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that. And the wine, whiskey, martini bars too those two categories have been the lowest. So we're definitely hoping for more input there. Those categories, and because the categories are wide open, anybody can win.
Yeah. So I was just going to say a call out to the folks who run those places. Get your patrons to start voting because you can really make your mark, especially in those categories. Pete. I know you've gotten a lot of response in your email inbox already and on Facebook. Can you kind of take us inside any sort of, what do the bar owners sort of said to you? What are you hearing? Any sort of interesting tidbits you've picked up thus far?
Well, a lot of direct emails from bar owners saying, "Great idea! No one's ever done this before." So they're really into it. How do I get involved? And we tell them again, nominations. You can nominate all week, but we don't at this stage. They must come from the patrons. No, we don't want them from the owners or from the employees, the bartenders. Sure. So the bar, and we had some bar owners say, "How can I get on the poll?" Well, you can't get on the poll at this point. The polls are closed. Whoever's on is on. But that doesn't mean that we don't visit you over the next upcoming weeks. So you have a chance to be visited, even if you're not on the poll at all. You could be dead last in the poll or not on the poll at all, and you could still be visited. But you need to have your people. This is going to bar owners. You need to have your patrons go online and tell us about your place in detail. And then there's a chance we could put you on the list. Right. So again, the list is, we're going, as we explained in the story, top 5 vote getters in each category. That's 30.
They will get an automatic
visit, and then the other 30 will be my personal picks. My picks may be some bars on the poll, or some bars totally out of left field.
So so we're going to look for that on Tuesday morning on NJ.com. We're going to be announcing that 60 semifinalists.
Right.
And each of those places over the course of the following 3 to 4 weeks will be visited by you.
Yes.
Hard work, but somebody's got to do it, right?
It's a tough life. Someone has to live it.
And so we'll talk more about the actual visiting and the process next week. But for now, we're looking ahead to finishing up the voting, and the polls will close on Saturday, and then Sunday. I'm sorry, forgive me. And then you're going to frantically kind of tabulate all the votes and put together your own input and your list of semifinalists. Right.
Yeah. Again, the winners in each people will be able to go online Sunday and kind of see who the top 5 are in each category. So those will be clear cut. But again, yeah, the tough part is picking 30 bars spread out across all these categories all over the state. My picks. That's going to be really difficult to come up with. And a lot of people are going to be happy, and a lot of people are going to be mad. But all's fair in love, war, and in bars.
So. Right, and worth repeating to the bar owners out there, you can vote once in each category once a day. If you try to vote more than once a day, our foolproof, no hanging Chad system will eliminate your vote. So
yes, we've actually had quite a few emails to that effect. The husband and wife, they're both voting at home. Only one vote is counted. Well, you're on the same computer, so that's not going to work. So go out, use your computer on your cell phone. There's 2 different IPs, and that'll work. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. If a bar is not in the poll, you still have a chance to be visited. So make sure if you're a regular of a bar or bar owner, you can nominate places all week online. You can see NJ.com's Jersey's Best. You'll see all the stories. And again, if you nominate a place, go into detail. Make a case. Make a strong, persuasive case for your bar.
Okay, Pete Genovese, our food dude. This quest will go on and on. We're going to find the best bar in New Jersey. Until next week, my name's Christopher Kelly, managing producer of entertainment for NJ.com. And we'll see you back here, same time, same place next week. Take care, Pete.
See you, Chris.